Hey folks, how you doing? It's Kurt at Manana No Mas. Happy holidays to you. I keep saying it over and over again, but when I was younger, I didn't really like the holidays, and now that I'm a little bit older, a little more seasoned, have my own children, um, the holidays have begun to really grow on me, and I look forward to it now. And even as an entrepreneur, as we dive in through, Thanksgiving, what Thanksgiving can be, getting through, Black Friday and then of course Cyber Monday. Today is Cyber Monday. So I just wanted to I'll cover a couple of things with you first as we go live here. I don't know if people are going to join us or not. If you do join us, feel free to put any comments, no matter what channel you're watching this on, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X. Feel free to put your comments in. Let me know who you are, where you're from, and we'll see how we can connect through the call here. But a couple of things. One, Thanksgiving was great. We did a giant brisket on the smoker. We also did a turkey. We did the normal side dishes, and we invited the college kids over from church. Kids that came from out of country or from out of state and weren't going home for the holidays. And so we invited those kids over to give them kind of a home base to stay at. And then we may have tortured them a little bit. We put in the DVD of The Sound of Music. And that's something my wife and we've watched The Sound of Music year after year after year, and we were going to play like a Hallmark movie or something like that. But the kids that came over, they're grown adults, right? They're in their 20s, but they were like not really definitive on what they wanted to see. And so we said, well, fine, the heck with you. We're just going to put in The Sound of Music. And it was really fun to do that. And then one of the kids turned out had a teacher that played The Sound of Music like once a month while they were in high school. So they knew all the words, knew all the songs, knew the lines before they were said, and it made it really fun. And if you don't know what The Sound of Music is really about, I'll tell you this. I've become one of these people that I can cry on a heartbeat. I can probably be a really good actor for that, I guess. But when Maria leaves the kids and goes back to the nunnery and then has the talk with the head nun lady, right? Because I know what I'm talking about. She decides to go back to the house, and the kids are like, these are a few of my favorite things. And then she comes around the corner with her luggage and she sings, and they go, years. I've seen this movie at least 30 times. I've seen this movie at least 30 times. And every time she comes back to the kids, I get a little misty because it's just it's a pretty good emotional spot, right? Maybe it's the music, the scenery. I don't know. It's what Austria looks like. Maybe Austria does that to me. I can't explain it because it's not like the cinematography was just so killer back then, right? So something definitely gets a hold of my feels in that movie, and it's always kind of fun to do that. So we did that. We had a great meal. We had people over to watch The Sound of Music. We got to pay it forward within our community, which I'm always looking for ways to do that. We do the WordPress meetup in Hutchinson, Kansas. We run that. So we do that once a month. I work with the college group at the church. My wife works with the babies at the church. I'm looking to speak at the community college and looking to speak at the high school in reference to both the automotive pathways and the tech pathways. Anywhere that I can share WordPress with folks, I will do that. Asif, welcome to the call. Asif Hawan. Hi, Kurt. And I probably said your name completely wrong. Is it Azif? It might be Azif Hawan. Anyway, good to see you here, man. Awesome. And as all this is happening, I'm looking at my email, right? So our agency has launched, I think six independent projects in the last month that we've launched, like we've taken live. So we've developed the website, whether it's been developing it for 2 weeks or developing it for 18 months. 6 of those ended up going live within the last 30 days. That's pretty cool. Like, I don't compare myself to other agencies. I don't really get into like a numbers game or a tit for tat kind of conversation with other agencies, but I feel really good that we were able to put different projects to light. Like to me, it's one thing to work on them. It's another thing to go, hey, let's let everyone else take a look at this thing. Now, one of those isn't it's on the URL, but they're not actively publishing it to customers and stuff like that yet. They're going to have probably 6,000 users a month coming to their website. So right now it's more like a soft launch for them. They're doing some back end testing, and they are letting a handful of people in to sample the site. We've got another group that is very much in their swing of a launch, and that's been going, I think, pretty good. The customer is a little anxious. You can tell they're more than a little anxious. They've banked a lot on what the success of this project is going to be. And even though I'm the agency, even though I'm the one that builds these projects for these people to help their dreams come true, I am very much a realist, right? Because it's like Field of Dreams, right? It's build it and they will come. Well, that's not true. You know, you have to do the marketing, you have to do the retargeting, you have to get your name, you have to grow a community, you have to do these things. And so, and there's like streams of like anti-marketing on the internet right now with like, oh, people say you need to have courses. You don't need courses. People say you need this. You don't need that. People say you need funnels. You don't need funnels. Well, you need something. You need something that's going to bring eyes to the product that you're trying to generate revenue from. And so we are very blessed that we get to help people's dreams become realities, right? We get to take their ideas and their concepts, and we help them drive that to a product that hits the market on the internet. But it is very much dependent upon the rest of their ecosystem on how well they will optimize their product and generate revenue and run their business and things like that. And so it is exciting to watch people launch so much, but it is also really exciting to work with people and help them fine tune their process over time. Now, we've got some clients that keep us on past the launch date, ongoing coaching, consulting. We have people that pay us quite literally for like what you would call leadership consulting or business consulting. We will work with people at all levels of enterprise to get them to the results that they need through their project. Some people will have us get them up to the launch and they're like, hey, Kurt, cool. Thanks for the website. We got it. We're out. And there's nothing wrong with that. If they know what they're doing and they're confident and they can move forward and make it a success, there's nothing wrong with that. We're open to all kinds of solutions at Mañana No Mas. We have learned a couple of lessons over the last couple of months, and that is we are going to be real choosy about where our clients host their websites. Client hosting has become a big topic of conversation in our circles, at least here at Mañana No Mas. We had a client through the state of Oregon that was using a host that I had heard of, but I hadn't used before. And they were dead set. They had to have it. It was I hate to say an enterprise thing. It was a smaller project, but it was enterprise in nature with, they did business with the state of Oregon. And the project did not go smooth. It had as soon as we went in and started working on it, everything seemed to work. It was great. We took videos of it working. Like we built it, it worked. We took videos of it and we made a tutorial with the video of it working. So we say, hey, it works. Here's your tutorial. Everything's good. Well, a week later, it didn't work. And they had caching issues. And then there was some custom code issues. There was all kinds of stuff in the back end of this website that a normal needs assessment wouldn't turn up. You would have to do kind of like a paid discovery deep dive on this project to really expose what was wrong with this project at its core. But of course, the customer wasn't willing to invest at that stage. I shouldn't say wasn't willing. They probably weren't even really aware of it. Maybe I should have sold it differently. But we had some stumbling blocks on that one. And so as we move forward, Mañana No Mas is like, great, we offer hosting. What other hosting have you chosen? And if it's not in alignment with what we work with, we'll just simply take a pass on the project. It's become that much of a to-do. And if you're following WordPress at all, you know that there's a big talk about hosting at the very top of the food chain, between a couple of major players in the WordPress space. I won't go into too many details here. But This gets us going into the next part of the conversation, and that is, I said, happy holiday season. I was talking about launches. I'm hopefully I'm hoping I'm trying to share the energy with you that you've got things going on too. I think this is a time of year to be really thankful. I'm a believer, so I say I'm thankful in God's grace. I'm thankful in God's provision. I'm thankful that God's taken care of me and my family. I am thankful that God has allowed me to communicate with people at the level that I do. I'm thankful, thankful, thankful. Like I have to be. Someone told me that it is impossible for anxiety to exist simultaneously with gratefulness. I'll say that again. It is impossible for anxiety to occur simultaneously with gratefulness. When you hear something like that, whether you're a believer or not, whether you believe in God, you believe in a higher being, you believe in Mother Nature, you believe in nothing, whatever you believe in, if you take that reality and you go, wait a minute, that's true. I can't suffer from anxiety if I fill myself up with gratefulness. But yet, how many times are we in our daily life here and someone says, oh, I struggle with anxiety. I struggle with anxiety. Anxiety really gets me down. Sometimes I deal with anxiety. My anxiety is getting the best of me today. Like, how many times do you hear that? And then someone smarter than me comes along and says, well, it's impossible for anxiety and gratefulness to share the same space. Folks, if for no other reason than to shed anxiety, this is a wonderful time of year to think about gratefulness, thankfulness. You know, where were you last year? Where are you this year? And don't compare yourself to other people. Like, forget about all the other people. Like I said at the beginning, like our agency launched 6 new products in the last 30 days. That's great. What did your agency do? If it makes you happy, I'm happy. Like, it's not a race. It's not a race, right? But it's like, where were you? What are your numbers? Where were you last year? Where were you November 2023? Were you November 2022? Where were you 2024 year sales? Where were you 2023 year up to date sales? Where are you 22 years up to date? You tracking me? Compare yourself to yourself and then be grateful for whatever the result is, especially if you've been putting in the work, putting in the time, and really dedicated to your craft. You know, the economy does weird things. So sometimes you could put in all the work and the revenue still goes down a titch. Here's what to be grateful for. Be grateful you put in the work and you sowed that seed so that the harvest will come at a later date. Keep sowing the seed and just keep your eyes open for the harvest. Right? I've said it for years. We have to find the opportunity within the obstacles. And I still hold true to that. We have to find the opportunity within the obstacles. For instance, I'm really active in the power sports space. The power sports industry is not a happy industry right now. Dealers are heavy on inventory. They're not really great on processes and fixed operations, which is parts and service. And so they're missing a lot of opportunities for revenue in parts and service. And because the inventory is high and the demand is low, they're really stressing out with floor plan expenses and lost opportunities in sales. A lot of power sports dealers focus so much on sales that they didn't focus on parts and service. And because they didn't focus on parts and service as a fundamental building block of business, they're struggling right now. And so they're having a very hard time being grateful and less anxious. But let's be real, right? If you have the business and if you have a business and you have the inventory and you have staff that is trainable, you aren't past the point of recovery. You could work with you could choose to work with my project, the Power Sport Academy. You could work with Garage Composites. You could work with the other folks at the, I just vapor locked on that. Mark's going to kill me. Mark on LinkedIn, he talks a lot about it's right there, begins with an S, Spader Group. Doesn't matter if you get your training with Spader Group, with Garage Composites, with Dealer Hero and Hero Hub, or Power Sport Academy. Somebody has training and information that's going to help your business grow and flourish. And so now's the time to sow that seed so that you can have a harvest later. Now, speaking of seeds and harvest and all those things, uh, today's Cyber Monday, and I am not unlike any other business. I wanted to make sure I paid it forward and I gave something away for Cyber Monday. So if we go to manananomas.com and we take a look at my website here, this is about the ugliest Cyber Monday special you're going to see. I just made it bright, hoping that people would see it. It's free. Don't worry about getting a discount. It's free. Here's the deal. manananomas.com. You come right down. The top section says the Manana No Mas Black Friday giveaway. This year, we are continuing to give away a digital planner journal, which is a phenomenal in the Remarkable 2 tablet and others. So this is, you know what, I'll take that off the screen and I'll give you guys a full screen view of it here in my hands. This is the Remarkable 2 tablet, right? So this is the 2025 digital planner. If I swipe the page, you see it goes to the year in review there. If I swipe the page again, it goes to the first week in January, and then we go into the format. So this year, I changed it. I change it every year with something special. This year, I decided instead of going from 8 o'clock in the morning, we start at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we still go down to 8 o'clock at night. So it used to be 8 to 8. Now it's 6 to 8. And I went single space at the top because I don't think a lot of people are packing their day full at 6 o'clock in the morning, but I wanted that schedulability in at the top. Now it's all hyperlinked. So anything that I push is going to go directly to, let me push one. Hold on. There we go. There we go. It's so nice when it all works. So it's all hyperlinked and you can go from page to page and look things up. Now you'll notice, let me get back to it. There's the day for scheduling. That's your planner. This is part of the planner as well. Today's inspiration, today's priorities, and today's notes. That's all part of the planner. And then for each day of the year, we added a daily journal page. So that daily journal page is really important to me. Journaling about 4 or 5 years ago really stepped into my life at a high level. And I've been sold out to journaling for quite a bit. So the reason I like the digital planner, the way that it's made there, all hyperlinked, is I can go anywhere in the year. I can go to any page, any date, any week, any month instantly without having to use tags and navigation tricks. So I can do that. And then I can not only plan my day, but I can kind of record how I'm doing for the day. So what I'll typically do is I'll do one piece in the morning when I'm reading my inspirational text of the morning. For me, that's scripture. For you, it could be whatever. But, I read a piece of scripture. I reflect on that. I may pray a little bit. And then I list my priorities for the day. And then I make sure my schedule is complete. Now, I also use a digital calendar because people will ask me all the time. They'll say, well, don't you use a digital calendar? Do they use Google Calendar? Do you use Outlook? Do you use? Yes, I do. I do. So if I'm making an appointment with somebody or my appointment scheduler is making an appointment with somebody, it'll schedule the Zoom call and put it in my Google Calendar and all those things. Thing is, my automated appointment scheduler always works a day in advance, not the same day. So I need at least a day's notice before I'm scheduling a meeting with somebody. That means when I get up in the morning and I go to my digital calendar and I write it in my planner, it gives me that tactile feel that I'm on top of things. It's that dopamine hit of I nailed it, right? And so I'll put this back up on stage. If you go to manananomas.com and you fill this out and you hit, get the goods, you're going to get a copy of the 2025 digital planner and journal. Again, it's a planner and a journal, completely hyperlinked. It's over 1,200 pages. So it's not something you're going to want to print out, right? It's in PDF format. So you could put it in your iPad, you could put it in your Android tablet, you could put it in a bunch of other things. I prefer to use the Remarkable 2 tablet. I have a Remarkable 2. For me, it's a game changer because I've got the last 4 years of digital planners and journals in my Remarkable tablet. They're completely searchable. So I can go in, if I make a note about meeting with Lifter LMS, I can search how many times did I meet with Lifter LMS? What did we discuss? What did we talk about? I can go to all kinds of things. And so for me, Having a digital planner like that is really cool. Now, once you say get the goods, right? You're going to put in your name and your email, get the goods. It's going to send you an email that's going to say download your link right here. But that's not all. You see where it says bonus? It says for this year. I didn't do this last year. For this year, you're going to get free enrollment in our journaling class called Jot It Down. Journaling is such a game changer for me. I say it all the time, and I'm just going to say it again at the risk of insulting people. When I was younger, I thought people that had to journal all the time, I thought that was a sign of weakness almost. I almost thought it was like, oh, you've got to express yourself so you don't explode. While some of that might be true, some of that might have merit. I've come with experience to understand that's not true. When I journal, I become much more clear on my thoughts, my goals, my relationships, who matters the most, what matters the most, how do I drive myself to things. You see, I run an agency that runs on 5 or 6 different verticals. So we have public speaking, we have corporate training, we have the web builds we design, we have the stuff we do subcontracted by Lifter LMS and WP Tonic. So we've got these verticals that we deal with. And in order for me to run Mañana No Mas and deal with those verticals, working with power sports, working with the marine industry, the public speaking, all that stuff, sometimes I need to slow things down. And when I say slow things down, what I'm referring to is if you're watching this, chances are you've driven a car. So you're driving a car down the highway, and let's say you look right out the side window, right by the window and the driver's side mirror right there. And you're driving along at like 50 miles an hour, and you see the dotted line, and the dotted line's going, right? You couldn't, if you're driving along 50 miles an hour and you're just looking out the side window, those lines are going by fast. You couldn't even count them. It almost looks like a solid line, right? If you had epilepsy, you'd start shaking, right? That's the sensation of me without journaling. That's the sensation of me when I'm not feeling in control of my day, my inspirations, and my goals, right? If I'm just surviving day to day, right? Because there's a difference between surviving and thriving. So when I don't plan, when I don't journal, sometimes I feel like I'm surviving the day. Like when the day's over, I'm just happy to turn off the computer and veg out and watch a little TV with my wife. And she likes that, but that's not me operating at my best. Okay. Same car, still going 50 miles an hour. When you pick up your head and you look out the windshield, those dots, the further you look, the slower they are. The further ahead you look, the slower the dots are coming. And that's the Kurt that exists with planning and journaling. See, everything's operating at the same pace, right? The car is still going 50 miles an hour. You're still traveling on the same road. Everything's the same, but your perception of what's happening is what has changed. You have mentally slowed things down so that you can operate more quickly. So when I am coaching businesses or consulting businesses on efficiencies and processes to grow their business more quickly, these are some of the things that I talk about with them. I say, what things can we do that will mentally slow you down in the same environment so that you can speed up physically, right? And to me, journaling and having a planner is one of the foundational steps in making that a reality. And so one of the ways that we try to pay it forward every year is just to say, hey, go to the mañananomas.com website. Last year and the year before, we did it on actionleadershipteam.com because I was trying to pump my leadership book. I have a book on leadership called Action Leadership from the Edge. And so last year and the year before, we were trying to pump up Action Leadership. But here's the deal. Everything is under the Mañana No Mas umbrella, and I decided to take it back to its roots and go to Mañana No Mas this year. So go to mañananomas.com, fill out the form, get your free planner, and get access to our journaling class. I'd love to have you to go through the journaling class. It's completely free. If you have any questions, problems, concerns, you want to have a discussion or send me an email about your thoughts on journaling or something I may have missed in the course, I'd be glad to hear it I would. If we can make it better for people coming in the future, that's great. We've got a pretty good handful of courses on Manana no Mas. So on one hand, we're an agency, right? On one hand, we are an agency that's there to do client work and build web projects and offer consulting and counseling and all those things in that area. But on the other side of Manana no Mas is like if you run your own agency and you want to come and maybe pick up some WordPress best tips, or you want to pick up some information or some training on leadership, or some information or training on process development. We've got that in the back end of Manana no Mas for folks. So that's it in a nutshell. I think that kind of covers what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the free offer for Cyber Monday. I know that Cyber Monday for a lot of people is where you drive revenue, right? Here's the deal. The customers that we're dealing with right now, the enterprise packages that we are currently pursuing with Manana no Mas, they're not the kind of clients that are going to get excited about saving 10% on Cyber Monday, right? They're involved big projects. And the other customers coming to Manana no Mas, jumping into one of our starter packages, they're already phenomenal, right? We've got some packages that are like a $1,500 setup and $79 a month for hosting and maintenance. Like that's a really good setup. And that could come with a CRM, e-commerce, the ability to blog, all of that. So if you're looking to get your business online, get seen, have the tools to get seen, reach out, go to manananomas.com, click the button to get in touch, book a call with me. Or if you want to take advantage of the free planner and the journal, go ahead and grab that. And when you grab the journal, it automatically enrolls you for the Jot It Down course. So you'll automatically have access to the back end of our learning management system and taking that first course for free. Folks, that's about it. I really want to encourage folks, whether you sign up for the journal, whether you take the course, whatever it is, if you took the time to come and spend a moment with me here on this live, or if you're watching it in the replay, please, please, please know I value our connection, however that connection is. When I look at how Manana no Mas has grown in the last decade, it's 15 years old now, right? We're coming up on 16 years. So we're coming up on 16 years. When I look at what it was like to start out, as a guy, as a freelancer making WordPress websites for $500, when I think about what that looked like, 2007, 2008, and I think about where we're at now, co-hosting with WP Tonic, the Membership Machine Show, running the lives for Lifter LMS, and then, of course, doing the stuff with the Manana no Mas podcast, the interviews we've been able to host, the knowledge we've been able to share, and the networking that we've been able to build both locally and internationally. When I look at all that, I go, what a blessing. What a blessing. And I go right back to how I started out the call. If I focus on the blessing, if I stay thankful and I stay grateful, you know that with those things, anxiety has no room. And it was someone so much smarter than me just blurted it out. It was only a couple of months ago. They said it is impossible for anxiety and thankfulness to coexist. So if you're feeling anxious this time of year, if things are starting to back up on you, if clients are starting to get a little wonky on you, focus on the things you can be thankful for, focus on the things to be grateful for. And the more that you exercise that thankfulness and that gratefulness, the more you'll push that anxiety away. Now, anxiety is different than being concerned about something, right? If there's a yellow flag or a red flag on the play in business, you got to address the yellow flag, right? That's the act of doing business. But when it becomes anxiety, so think of it this way, like I said, a yellow flag or a red flag on the play, but think of it this way. If there's an obstacle that comes up in business, that's external, right? That's something that's having an effect on you externally. But then when it's something that generates from the inside, when it's that awkward feeling of just always being stressed out, and it's really just something from inside, it's not really an external thing. It's like it's coming from inside. That is what anxiety is. And anxiety and gratefulness and thankfulness, they can't coexist. So the more you focus on gratefulness and thankfulness, the more things will even out for you. Big shout out to Azif. Azif, thanks for coming today. Thanks for jumping in with the comment. I see that there's a bunch of other people in here as well, but I don't see the comments. And with that, I'm going to invite you, like, share, comment. I'll get the notifications. If you have any questions or you try to download the free planner and journal and if something goes wrong, just hit me up and I'll make it right for you. With that, folks, have yourself a great rest of Cyber Monday. I must have deleted 500 emails today. So if it's the same for you, I'll pray for your mental well-being. Cyber Monday, the offers just kept coming all day long, at least 500 emails. As I would clear them out, more would come rushing in. So instead of sending email this year, I thought I would just pop in, do a quick live, let you know that this thing is free. I'm going to leave it up probably through the new year, just to take the surprise out of it. I'm probably going to leave that free link up through the new year so that people can start the new year with a fresh journal, fresh planner, and be ready to go. That's that. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your holiday season.